Good morning and happy Friday, March 27th, 2026 to everyone. It is a chilly, chilly morning, especially for the viewers who are tuning in from the Toronto and the GTA. It is cold this morning. So super excited that spring is right around the corner. Look, the next 90 days, Q2 2026 will be your make it or break it event. I'll say it again. The next 90 days, which Q2 is right around the corner, is going to be your make it or break it for this year. With the Canadian Real Estate Association forecasting a 5.1% increase in national sales this year, 8% projected in Ontario, pent-up demand finally unleashing in a buyer-favored market, most agents will struggle because they've never completed a proper Q2 SWOT analysis. Today, we're going to break one down. Welcome to another episode of No Agent Left Behind Academy, Tactical Mastery, Real Results. I am your host, Stephen Kim, local Toronto GTA real estate broker and the team lead of the Stephen Kim Group. And it is an incredible group of agents servicing the Toronto and the GTA area. So today we're going to supercharge your next 90 days. We're going to take those weaknesses, those supposed weaknesses, and we're going to turn them into wins so that you have a phenomenal Q2. And let's be real, Q2, this is our spring market. The spring market started about a month ago. So this is, statistically speaking, where most agents will make up to 40% of their income in the next 90 days. And I'm going to help to try to break that down so that we achieve all of our goals. So let's get right into it. Turn weakness into wins, your Q2 SWOT analysis, win the next 90 days, win the next sales cycle. And I'll say it again, most agents, in terms of revenue and income, 40% is the average. 40% of income comes in the next 90 days, the spring market. Let's get right into it. Content for today is what is a SWOT analysis? It's an acronym, examples of SWOT, and then finally a SWOT action plan. You know I'm going to hit you with an action plan. I'm not just going to give you what to do. I'm going to show you how to get it done. So what is a SWOT? It's an acronym. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The weaknesses component is I'd rather like to look at that as kind of an introspection in terms of where to pivot in our business. So SWOT does three things. It highlights what's working for you currently in the business. It pinpoints areas for improvement. And I love this one. Number three, it uncovers untapped or underutilized opportunities for lead generation. I'm a huge proponent of this. And yes, we're in a very different type of market right now. But if you wake up every single morning and all you see are problems in the market, guess what happens? You get more problems in the market. If you take a look at the market and you see all of the incredible opportunities, guess what happens? The next morning, you get more opportunities. So number one, do me a favor, that mindset shift. That mindset shift is something that I want you working on in Q2, right? It's so easy to complain about things, right? That's why misery loves company. So maybe you need to change your environment. Maybe you need to change the people that you work with. Maybe you change, well, it's hard to change people that you live with, right? Especially if you're married and you have kids. But maybe you just change the environment or the people that you want to network with, right? So be optimistic in this market because there are an incredible amount of opportunities that exist in this market right now. How to do a SWOT effectively. Just quickly before we get into the rest of the presentation, just drop in the chat. How many of you have actually completed a SWOT analysis for 2026? Not trying to out anyone, but just quickly show in the chat. How many of you have actually completed a SWOT analysis for 2026? The four quadrants: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. How many of you have actually done one this year? As I get into it. So, how to do a SWOT effectively. A SWOT analysis involves the following steps. Number one, it gathers insights. And you'll say, well, I'm not really sure how to get that insight. Well, I'm going to ask you to do this. Ask team members, right? Or ask people in your office if you're a solo agent. Another thing to do is study competitors. Study what other agents, brokers, teams are doing in your marketplace. And this is a big one. Evaluate your hard and soft skills. I'll say it again. Evaluate your hard and soft skills. Where do you need to pivot, right? Number two is analyze the market. Use data If you are an agent in TREB, Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, look at the market watch tables. Everything is free. It's online. You must study the market watch tables. You must be able to articulate the value in a market watch table as it pertains to a particular client with wherever they're at in the real estate journey. Far often, I see agents post the market watch tables and that's it. That market watch table doesn't mean anything if I'm a renter. It doesn't mean anything if I live in an area where I can't really disseminate the information. So the market watch tables, understand who your avatar client is, and then curate that information to that client. Number three is this: develop strategies, prioritize actions to address weaknesses, mitigate threats, and capitalize on opportunities. I'll say this again: sit down to develop the strategies to prioritize your actions to address the weaknesses, the leaks in your business is what I call. Where are the leaks in your business? Also, be able to mitigate threats and capitalize on those opportunities right now. What are some of the opportunities right now in this marketplace? For those people, all people tuning in from Canada, you saw that the government, especially the provincial government, Doug Ford came on and made a blanket statement. HST rebates up to 130,000 for price points up to $1.5 million on all brand new homes in Ontario, regardless if you're a first-time home buyer, second time, third time, so on and so forth. That is a huge, huge, massive opportunity that's going to come in place April 1st, 2026. It just has to pass federal legislature. Example of a SWOT here. I just wanted to take a little quick example of what a SWOT would look like. So again, the four quadrants: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths: local market knowledge. We hear this term all of the time. Be the knowledge broker. Be the knowledge broker. It doesn't mean you need to know every single stat on the market watch tables or whatever market watch table that your real estate board pumps out to you. Be hyper local. I live in Richmond Hill. I know all of the listings that come on every single day in Richmond Hill for freehold style properties, right? I also study inventory levels. I speak to other agents in the marketplace to find out what's happening. What are buyers doing? How are sellers behaving? What are other agents doing? You got to have strong negotiation skills. You got to remember you are in right now more than ever a skills based market. I'll say it again. You are in a skills based market and you must refine your negotiation skills. Well, what's the quickest way of doing this? Practice. Find a role play partner and script practice negotiation skills. I can tell you very quickly in all the years I've been doing this, within the first few seconds, when I pick up a phone and I'm submitting an offer, I'm receiving an offer, I know within the first few seconds whether this agent has the negotiation skills. The negotiation chops is what I like to call it, right? Another strength is, do you have an established network, right? You got a network. You are a solopreneur. You're an entrepreneur. You have to have a network. Another strength is your proven track record. You're all rock star agents. Highlight your proven track record. What about weaknesses? Maybe you have a limited budget for advertising. Maybe you depend too much on referrals. Maybe you have inconsistent lead generation. Am I talking to anyone about this? Maybe you're tuning in right now and this is your greatest weakness. Maybe you need better time management. We hear this all the time, even with my own Tom Ferry coaching clients. One of the things we hedge on, we work really hard on, is better time management. I want us all focusing in on opportunities, right? Opportunities begets more opportunities. Growing housing demand, expanding into new areas, leveraging all of your social media, and developing a specialized niche. What about some of the threats? Market fluctuations, increased competition, changes to regulations, economic downturn. So here's an example of a SWOT, but I'm going to break this down into SWOT in the next slides. Strengths. What do you already have going for you? Let's think about this. And if you kind of like a head in the sand, you're kind of kicking the rocks down the street, this is not for you. I'm talking for the rock star confident agents who are tuning in right now that are like, yeah, I am a badass agent and I have a really great list of skill sets that every buyer, every seller, every renter, every landlord, every investor would need. So what do you already have going for you? What about this? There's pent-up demand. Your buyers have been praying for a market like this. You agents have been praying for a market like this. Gone are the days where you're number 38 of 45 offers on a property and you're waiting in your car until 2 in the morning. That is gone. There is great pent-up demand right now from buyers, and there's a crazy amount of inventory. What about this? Agent optimism. Real Broker put out a survey. Agents are 71% more optimistic right now in this market than ever before. What about this? Long-term demand. There's so much pent-up demand right now. Number two, tactical. Leverage your past client database and sphere with timely and relevant check-ins. I'll say it again. Get real tactical. Leverage your past client database and sphere with timely and relevant check-ins. We've talked about this on the past 2 episodes. Referral marketing engines, how to ask referrals. The 3 referral questions, you got to go back to last week's episode where I dropped the 3 referral questions. Every single agent tuning in right now, listening, needs to be asking their database and sphere. Number 3 is this: systems and processes. How good is your lead follow-up? Is your lead follow-up relentless? Do you have something set up, an action plan in your CRM that sends you daily reminders for the first 28 days, the first 40 days on how to follow up with leads? And what about this? I cannot hedge on this enough. And one of my role models, Ryan Serhant, is a master at this. Skill set. Learn how to sell. I'll say it again. Your skill set. Learn how to sell. This is a complete skill-based market. Skills-based market. Agents that think that their only value add is the commission that they charge are getting decimated in this market. The agents that are thriving in this market are the ones that are killing it in skill set. And I'm going to say this. You're going to say, well, what are you talking about, Steve? What specific skill set are you referring to? I'm going to refer to this. This year, 2026 into 2027, the agents who are going to absolutely dominate are the ones that have a strong buyer conversion skill set. I'll say it again. If you are listening right now, you watch this later, and I'm talking to you, if you have a strong buyer conversion skill set, like you know how to close buyers, you are like, I tell this to my team, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. That's how excited I get right now. On top of that, the federal government, provincial government, putting their money together to say, you know what, HST rebates of up to $130,000. I haven't experienced this. 16 years in the business, I've never seen anything like this. This is the opportunity that your buyers are looking for. You should be shouting from the mountaintops right now, calling every single person, stopping every single person at that coffee line, letting them know the opportunities, this massive opportunity. And please, please, please work on your buyer conversion selling, buyer conversion skill set. Number 4 is this. Do you have a niche market? Are you an expert in a niche market? Do you have a geo farm, right? Knock on those doors. Knock on those doors. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. What? So a neighbor is going to yell at you for knocking on their door? You do not want what they want, right? When I knock on doors, I get to hand select the clients I work with. That's the mindset I go into. I don't want to work with anyone. If you're going to slam the door in my face, great. You've just disqualified yourself from my lead funnel. What about this? Maybe your niche market is pre-construction. You are a beast at pre-construction. Great. Hedge on that right now. Sedge Park right now is working with a buyer that he has been nurturing for a year. And yes, his follow-up is relentless. And he showed them pre-construction. Not only is he getting a price off of the builder's price, he's got incentives lined up for his buyer as well. And what perfect timing, because they can now capitalize on the entire HST exemption of up to $130,000. What about this? Maybe your niche market is first-time home buyers. You want to really convert first-time home buyers? Have the answer to all of their pain points. I'll say it again. You want to really crush first-time home buyers, really help a lot of first-time home buyers? Solve the problems they all have right now. That's strengths. Weaknesses. Okay. Don't ignore these deal killers. Please, please, please do not ignore these ones. Number 1, buyer conversion struggles. You're not leading and there's no relevant CTA after showings. How many of you are this right now? You're having a tough time converting your buyers. I hear this from so many agents. Steve, my buyers can't make a decision. They're waffling on every decision. My question is, who's leading who right now? You got to give choice. You cannot leave a buyer showing without your buyer making a decision. And that's either, will we be offering on this, or where does this rank on your top 2 properties, so on and so forth, which is the old shoe salesperson method. That's the CTA after showings. Your CTA should not be, well, you know what? We're going to keep looking. And if I find anything, you see anything, I'll send it over your way. That's not a CTA. A CTA is they've made a decision. Are we going to see more properties? Are we going to offer? What is your CTA? Number two is inconsistent lead flow. And this is a big pain point from a lot of agents I speak to, is they just have inconsistent lead flow. And I'm going to say the number one reason why most agents have inconsistent lead flow is because they do not have a system, an SOP with regards to lead follow-up. I'll say it again. They have an inconsistent or lack thereof of an SOP with regards to lead follow-up. Your money, your fortune is made in the follow-up. So don't look at it as a lead flow issue. I want you to sit today, the next week, really look at what is your SOP regarding a lead flow follow-up system. Hey, you know what? Maybe this should be another episode. Our lead flow follow-up system. Say that 20 times fast. We are relentless at it. And what I mean by that is, I hate to say it, right? We stop working with a lead the moment they tell us to beep off. I'll say it again. If I haven't heard from you, I am relentlessly going to follow up with you. You literally need to tell me to off before I say, you know what? Okay. But I'm going to engage with you after 6 months anyways. I might have just caught you in a bad day. Number three is this: inefficient workflow. Lack of SOPs, no content calendar leads to lack of consistency and efficiency. I'll say again, lack of SOPs, no content calendar leads to a lack of consistency and efficiency. One of the things that all of my coaching clients do with Tom Ferry is they got to send me in their content calendar every single quarter. So again, they got to send me in their content calendar every single quarter, because every week I follow up with where they're at in that process. Number four is poor business optimization. It is crazy how many of you still have a very weak or non-existent Google business profile. I'll say it again. Crazy how many of you, or some of you, have a weak or non-existent Google business profile. I highly, highly recommend you get your butt onto a Google business page. It's free. Spend some time researching and how to optimize that. The fastest way to optimize your Google business page, ask your clients, your past clients, to send you in a relevant, SEO-rich Google review. Just make sure they're all 5 stars. And what about this? There's a big shift in that search is now being utilized on many AI platforms. Search being utilized on many AI platforms. When I type your name into ChatGPT, do you rank? Do you show up? If not, then take a look at all of the cited sources that AI is pulling information from and get on those cited sources. Recently, I just got our team onto Yelp, and you're like, what? Isn't that for food? There are real estate reviews on Yelp, right? So make sure that you show up on those cited searches that AI is scrubbing the internet for when people are searching up best realtor in Richmond Hill. What about this one? Burnout. Are you juggling too many roles? You cannot do everything. You cannot do everything. If you feel like you can do everything, I can tell you very quickly, you will never have a scalable business. If you are the primary marketer, sales, ops, practitioner, everything, there's an impossibility. You just won't be able to scale. So you're either going to hire the roles, right, and build a team, or you're going to join a team so that you can scale. You can focus in on what you're really, really good at and what you get paid to do, which is selling. My favorite part of a SWOT is the opportunities. Like I said at the very early onset of this episode, opportunities begets opportunities. So every single morning, I just talk to myself. Steve, what are the opportunities today? My opportunity today, Friday, March 27th, is I'm going to reach out to 7 investor clients that I know and say, by the way, starting April 1st, the HST rebate applies to you, Mrs. and Mr. Investor. So what properties are we taking a look at? Because I have the hot list of all of the builder inventory where they will they will reduce pricing, right? So the 90-day game plan, opportunities part 1. This is a buyer favorite market. High inventory, favorable interest rates, improved affordability. I'll say again, this is a buyer favored market. There's high inventory, favorable interest rates, and improved affordability. It's your job to get them across the finish line. What about this? We know the buyer process is, around 60 to 90 days. Why don't you create a 90-day buyer boot camp for buyers right now in this market? Showcase your entire buyer process. It still boggles my mind how many buyers don't understand the actual process. There are things that you need to do even before we go searching on the property. And I'm not saying just a mortgage pre-approval. One of the things that still shocks me is this: when I'm dealing with our listings and an agent submits an offer, And then right after, they're like, oh, by the way, my buyer can't get their deposit within the 24 hours. They need 5, 6 days. What? How do they not know that? Right? The contract can die if that deposit is not procured within 24 hours upon acceptance or after acceptance. What is your buyer process? Link up with the lender and showcase. What about this? Linking up with the lender and showcasing your steal of the week opportunities, either in person or webinars. How would your business be if you created a buyer boot camp that literally showcased your buyer process and you just highlighted to people steal of the week opportunities? Maybe every Friday or Monday, you show people a steal of the week and you say, well, what's a steal of the week? A steal of the week is this X property. And we see this on social media. I see it all the time on social media. House in Oakville, house in Brampton, house in Mississauga at the height of the market sold at this. They just sold for a $650,000 loss. What about number 3? This is a big one. So many agents still don't know this. Utilize your CRM's AI plugins. We run off of Lofty here at the Stephen Kim Group. What's crazy is the moment I put in notes into Lofty and I set a task, AI works on that lead, reads the notes and says, by the way, Steve, this should be your next touch point and it should be at this frequency. I'll say that again. That heavy lifting of what do I do? What do I say? I'm not sure where to lead them. Use your CRM's AI plugin to help do that heavy lifting. At this frequency, say this. They've been interested in this. You might want to highlight this opportunity. That is a win-win. Number 4, expand your geographical reach. Look at the farming areas next to your current geofarm. I'll say it again. If you got a geofarm, amazing. Why not open it up? If you're doing it on this side of the street, why not do it on that side of the street? But there is a general rule with my Tom Ferry coaching clients is a 6% turnover rate. And you're going to say, well, what's a 6% turnover rate? If I take 100 homes in an area, I have to make sure at least 6 of those homes sold back in 2025. That is a 6% turnover rate. The higher the turnover rate, the greater the opportunity. The lower the turnover rate, the smaller the opportunity. Okay, so general rule of thumb is geofarms, 6% turnover rate. What about number 5? Shift towards skilled agents. I can tell you this all day, every day. Shift towards skilled agents. Not only will you make more money if you focus on your skill set this year, right? Not only will you make more money, you'll close more deals. You will just inherently take more opportunities away from more agents because of your skill set. Like, I get this all the time. Steve, how do you handle the commission objection when listing a property? I'm not trying to be arrogant. I just know what I bring to the table. And when I say what I bring to the table, the amount of preparation that goes into a listing presentation so that when I present in front of a seller, very rarely will they ever ask, will you discount your commission? But the objection is this: hey, Steve, will you reduce your commission? No, we don't. And then I pause. And guess what happens? They agree. Okay, next. It's as simple as that. I can say that with confidence because of the presentation, because I've worked so hard on our listing skill set, our listing presentation. Your knowledge and sales skill will strengthen your client's liability or loyalty. Sorry. Another 90-day game plan. Number 6 is this: the HST rebate on new homes for all home buyers right across the board, up to $130,000 for homes up to $1.5 million, starting April 1st, 2026, going all the way until the end of March 2027. I'm just going to do a little sidetrack here. I'm going to do a video on this, but a little sidetrack on this rebate thing. Buyers, I just want for you to know this one thing. This is not for you. This is for builders, right? This is an incentive for builders to build more homes, to get their butts into gear, to bring more inventory to the market. And you say, what, Steve? Isn't inventory really, really high? It is high right now, but I'm telling you that we need homes built right now en masse for what's happening in the next 5, 8, 10 years. We are in still a housing shortage. It's just that there's a lot of buyers not making the decision. And people say, well, I don't understand how that works. Well, how it works is this: we are a world-class city, right? We have the Amazons, we have the Googles, we have major tech companies, major businesses, world-class institutions, world-class schools. We have immigration is slow now, but they're going to open up the doors again. You can have more people coming here into the market that are going to gobble up housing. We don't have enough houses to meet that demand in the next 5, 6, 8, 10 years. So this rebate is for builders to get their butts in the gear to bring more inventory to the market, right? And you're going to say, well, isn't the government going to lose a lot of money? They're not going to lose a lot of money. Property taxes alone is going to help them to recoup those billions of dollars within the first few years of this program. Okay, off my rant, back on to win the next 90 days. Number 7, leverage your brand and content. All of you have a brand and content, whether you believe so or not. You all have a brand and content. Sit with it, sit down, and really untap your potential with your brand and content. Look, if you love garden gnomes, good. Leverage garden gnomes. Talk to me when I should be putting out garden gnomes, what type of garden gnomes I should be putting out, right? Where to go buy garden gnomes, all of that stuff. Leverage in on your brand and content because people do business that are like them. Remember that. Next, threats. What are the threats? What are the things that can derail your business in 2026? Right? What are the things that can derail your business in 2026? What about number 1 is economic uncertainty. This has been on the table ever since I've been licensed. This is not a 2026 issue. This is something that every single client has brought to the table since I've been licensed. The challenge right now is what's happening right now in the Middle East, the war in Iran. So yes, that is a viable reasoning, and I understand that, and that can impact interest rates, more specifically the bond yields, the fixed rates, not the variable rates. Economic uncertainty is, a weakening job market, and I get that, and then the concerns of rising inflation. Understand that. Number 2, affordability is still a major concern. Affordability limits buyer pools in expensive markets. Toronto is an expensive market, and so because of that, homes being expensive, it limits buyers' purchasing power, which limits buyer pools. What about number 3, right? Increased inventory. Listings still high while demand is still recovering. I'll say it again. Listings are still high while demand is still recovering. How are you going to get your buyers to pull the trigger to buy these properties while listings are high? Because right now, buyers have leverage. And in sales, if you have leverage, you're winning. I'll say it again. In sales, if you have leverage, you're winning. So if you're working with a lot of buyers right now, you have leverage, you're winning. You just got to make sure that you're giving them a choice and a CTA after every round of showings. What about this? Number 4, tech and discount brokerages. Pressure on traditional commission models. And that's a threat, I'm going to say, to the traditional brick and mortar models. Me being at Real right now, I can tell you right now, it's not that I'm running, I am sprinting right now because of all of the tech, the AI support, the platforms that Real has enabled the agents and empowered the agents to utilize in this type of a market. So this has been a huge, huge benefit. Okay. Before I move on to the very last slide, which is the action plan, how to get all of this in order, I want you to just share with me very quickly, what's the one opportunity right now in this market? Q2 is right around the corner. Share with me, what's the one opportunity you see in this market right now? Right? Is it the HSD rebate? Is it the opportunity of, I'm doing role playing, I'm doing script practice once or twice a week. So I'm refining my skills, my sales skills. What's the opportunity right now in front of you in this market? I just want you to drop it in the chat. And let me do this. I'm going to add these comments up on stage. So Jenny says last SWOT was done back in December 2025. Amazing, Sedge Park. Yes, SWOT for sure. You got to plan for your quarters. So SWOT should not just be done on a yearly basis. It should also be done on a quarterly basis. But just quickly in the chat, share with me, what's the opportunity you see right in front of you in 2026? As they pop up, I will read them out. Okay. Here's your 90-day action plan, your homework. Yes, it's the coach, it's the teacher, the mentor in me is to give you an action plan and homework. Okay. Number 1 is this: become a market translator. And so you're going to say, well, what does that mean? I want you to explain rates, affordability, and timing. Just don't put out something in the news and expect the public to understand how this impacts them. You got to be able to explain the impact of whatever article you're talking about. And that's being a market translator. Explain rates, affordability, and timing. What about this? Number 2, and this is a big one. This is a huge one. Double down on buyer conversion. Role play, script practice, objection handling, unique buyer process, clear frameworks. If I could highlight number 2, if I could put an asterisk around it, I would do this in a heartbeat, especially in this market. You all need to double down on your buyer conversion, which means role play more, script practice more, objection handling more, create a great buyer process, clear frameworks. Number 3, position around opportunity. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to use this exact line to all of my investors. This is the window smart investors, smart buyers have been waiting for. So Mr. Buyer, you waiting for you to take advantage of this great opportunity that was just announced a couple of days ago. What about number 4? Fill out your SWOT and focus on buyer conversion. So don't just like put out a SWOT randomly, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. The theme should be around in 2026, Q2 2026, around buyer conversion. What are your strengths around buyer conversion? What are your weaknesses around buyer conversion? What are your opportunities and what are your threats? There's a theme if you haven't picked up on this YouTube live. The theme is buyer conversion because we need those buyers offering on properties and getting their butts into new homes. And number 5 is this. I want you all to do this once you're done watching this YouTube live. Do me a favor. Fix one buyer conversion weakness. I'll say it again. Fix one buyer conversion weakness, whether it's a speed to lead, whether it's assumptive appointment setting, whether it's focusing on a dream outcome instead of price, highlighting your value. I want us all to work on one buyer conversion weakness into Q2 2026 so that we can turn that weakness into a strength. And when it becomes a strength, we're going to close more deals. It's as simple as that. The underlying theme in all in the last 30 minutes has been around buyer conversion. Your Q2 2026 from your coach, from Stephen Kim, I'm telling you, has to focus around buyer conversion. Want to say thank you for everyone. Okay, sorry about that. The mic just came out right now. But I just want to say thank you for this community. It means the world to me. If there's topics that you'd like for me to cover on the next YouTube lives, just drop me a DM. It's been amazing. And thank you for the people that have already DM'd me with some topics. I will get to it. Absolutely. I promise you. But thank you everyone for the last 30 minutes of your time. It means the world to me. Time is the greatest currency that you have. So I really appreciate it. And hopefully you found value in this. Do me a favor next week. Bring someone else onto this as we try to grow this community. This is kind of what we're trying to do, build a community of like-minded agents, like-minded, like skill set agents. So do me a favor, bring another agent on board and hopefully they find value in it. Hope everyone has a great Friday. You all know the drill. Be great, be kind, everyone. And I will see you next Friday live at 10 a.m. Peace.